Daniel, my voice echoed through the apartment as I kicked off my heels. I stopped. The bedroom door was half open. Soft laughter, muffled whispers. I pushed it open. Daniel's bare back. Sophie's tanned legs tangled in. My sheets. For a second, my brain refused to connect the pieces. Daniel scrambled for the blanket, his face pale. "This isn't," Sophie smirked, propping herself up on one elbow. "You're early." My hands went to my belly. Automatically. Luna kicked as if she felt the storm building inside me. "Early. I live here, Sophie." Daniel stood, wrapping the blanket around his waist. "I can explain." "Explain." I laughed, though my voice shook. "You were inside my best friend. In our bed? Go on, Daniel. Explain the hell out of that." He rubbed his face, avoiding my eyes. "You've been different. Distant. Everything's about the baby now." I'm sorry," I snapped. "Did my pregnancy inconvenience your sex life?" Sophie's gaze slid lazily over me. "Maybe if you spent more time on your husband instead of your sewing machine." "Shut your mouth," I hissed. "You don't get to talk to me. You don't even get to breathe near me." Daniel stepped between us. "Bella, let's just calm down." "Calm," my voice cracked. "I gave you everything, Daniel. I defended you when my family said you were too selfish to marry. And you couldn't even wait until I gave birth to ruin us?" He looked at the floor. Silence. That's what I thought. I turned, walked into the closet, and yanked my suitcase down. "Where are you going?" He demanded. "Anywhere you're not." I stuffed clothes in without folding. My hands shook so hard I could barely zip the bag. Daniel grabbed my arm. "You can't just leave. Where will you go? You need me." I stared at his hand until he let go. "I need you, like I need a knife in my back." Sophie laughed softly. So dramatic, I spun to face her. "You think you've won something? You've traded a friend for a man who cheats. Congratulations." Her smile wavered for half a second. I dragged my suitcase down the hall, every wheel clattering against the wood floor like a drum beat. My chest was tight, my breath short, but I kept moving. Daniel followed me to the door. "Bella, be reasonable. Think about the baby." "Oh, I am," I said, yanking the door open. "I'm thinking about raising her far away from men like you." The hallway smelled faintly of rain. I stepped out, the door clicking shut behind me, cutting off his voice. I didn't make it to the elevator before my phone buzzed. Maya double quotes. "Hey, I was about to call you," she said. "You okay? Can you pick me up?" My voice broke on the last word. Her tone sharpened. "Where are you?" "At the apartment. And Maya, bring your spare room key." She didn't ask why. 10 minutes later, her little red hatchback pulled up at the curb. I climbed in, still clutching my suitcase. Maya took one look at me and gripped the steering wheel tighter. What happened? I stared out the window. Daniel, Sophie, our bed. Her mouth dropped open. That she slammed her palm against the wheel. "I swear, Bella, give me 10 minutes and I'll make him regret." "No." My throat burned. "He's not worth it." She glanced at my belly. Are you okay? The baby?" Pressed my hand against the small kick. "She's fine. Stronger than me." "Don't say that," Maya said fiercely. "You're the strongest person I know." I shook my head. "Strong people don't feel like they're about to fall apart." "That's exactly when you're strong, when you keep going anyway." I swallowed hard. "It hurts, Maya. More than I thought it could." "I know." Her voice softened. "But we'll get through it. You and me, Anna." She nodded toward my belly. The streetlights blurred as we drove, each one streaking through my tears. I tried to stop crying, but every time I blinked, I saw Sophie smirk. Daniel's blank eyes. Maya parked outside her small apartment building. "Come on." I followed her upstairs, my suitcase feeling heavier with each step. Inside, the warm scent of her lavender candles hit me, and something in my chest cracked. "You can have my bed," she said. "I'll take the couch." "No," I whispered. "The guest room's fine." She hesitated, then nodded. Do you want tea? Food? I shook my head. My voice was gone. She came closer and wrapped her arms around me. I stood there, stiff at first, then sank into her shoulder. It's okay to fall apart, she murmured. Just don't stay broken. I wanted to tell her I wouldn't. I wanted to promise I'd stand back up tomorrow. But all I could do was breathe and hold on. Afraid that if I let go, I'd shatter completely. You're sure you're comfortable here? Maya asked, leaning against the doorway of the guest room. It's perfect. I said, though the bed dipped so much I felt like I might roll into the wall. Better than being anywhere near him. She crossed her arms. You know you should. Tell Mom. I shook my head. I can't. Not yet. Bella. She's going to find out eventually. I can't hear her say I told you so right now. Maya sighed, pushing off the doorframe. Fine. But you can't keep everything bottled up forever. I'm not bottling it up. My voice trailed off. Trying to. Breathe. The days blurred together after that. Nausea in the mornings, swollen feet at night, bills arriving with my name on them. One afternoon, I sat at the kitchen table staring at a bank statement. My half of the joint account. Gone, Maya. Glanced over my shoulder. He emptied it. Yeah, my chest tightened. Guess that's his idea of closure, scumbag, she muttered. You need to call a lawyer. I can't afford a lawyer. She pulled out a chair. So what's the plan? 'Cause sitting here isn't going to pay rent. I'm not sitting, I said, sliding my sketchpad toward her. I've been working. She flipped through the pages, pausing at a deep emerald gown sketch. This is gorgeous. I am more, I said quickly. Ideas for a full collection. Brow furrowed. You're actually thinking about launching something now. Yes, I don't have a choice. I forced a smile. If I can get investors, maybe I can rebuild. The phone rang before she could answer. I grabbed it, expecting a spam caller. Bella Hayes. The voice was sharp, confident. My chest tightened. Yes, this is Evelyn King. My heart skipped. Evelyn. Don't sound so shocked, she said briskly. I saw some of your sketches on social media. Who posted them? Maya. I said quickly. Well, thank her for me. They're rough, but there's talent. A small, unexpected warmth flickered in my chest. Thank you. I'm putting together a showcase for a group of investors in 6 months. I want you to be there. I blinked. Me at an investor gala. Lest there's another Bella Hayes designing gowns in this city? I laughed nervously. I don't know if I'm ready for you'll never be ready, she interrupted. You'll either do it or you won't. Which is it? I glanced at Maya, who was mouthing, say yes, I'll do it. Good, you have 6 months. Don't waste them. And Bella. Yes. Don't show up looking like you've been crying for a year. Investors don't fund pity. The line went dead. Maya grinned. Well, damn. Was that the Evelyn King? Yes, I whispered, still holding the phone like it might vanish. And she just invited you to one of the biggest fashion investor events in the city. Apparently, she sat back, shaking her head. See, this is why you can't give up. The universe just threw you a rope. Grab it. I leaned back in my chair. 6 months isn't long. You've done more with less. I've thought about the empty account, the bills. The way Daniel's voice still echoed in my head. You're holding me back. Maya leaned forward. Then prove him wrong. That night, I sat at the little desk in the guest room, sketching until my wrist ached. My belly pressed against the edge of the desk, reminding me I wasn't just designing for me anymore. Maya peeked in. Still up, I have to work while I have energy. She pointed to a half-finished gown on the page. What's that one called? I stared at it for a long moment. Survivor. Fitting. She yawned. Don't stay up too late. Bella, yeah, you're going to kill it. When she closed the door, I whispered to the empty room. I have 2. I only needed bread, milk, and maybe a quiet afternoon. The supermarket was half empty. And I was halfway through the bread aisle when I heard her laugh. I froze, Bella. Sophie's voice was sugar-coated poison. I turned slowly. She was, hanging off Daniel's arm, wearing a red dress far too tight for noon grocery shopping. The diamond around her neck caught the fluorescent light. "Wow," she said, eyes flicking to my stomach. "You're bigger." Daniel didn't even meet my eyes. "We should keep moving, Sophie." But she stepped closer. "No, let's catch up. It's been, what? 2 weeks since you walked out." I tightened my grip on the cart handle. I didn't walk out. I escaped. Her smile sharpened. "From what? Love? Security?" She held the diamond between her fingers. "Some of us know how to keep what we have." I forced a laugh. "Yes, by sleeping with your best friend's husband. Brilliant strategy." Daniel muttered, "This is pointless. Sophie, is it?" She tilted her head. "I mean, it must be hard living off your sister now. No husband, no money, just charity." My cheeks burned. "I'm fine." She turned her voice up like she wanted the whole aisle to hear. "I mean, really, doesn't it feel strange? Depending on handouts when you used to be so independent?" The cashier at the end of the aisle glanced over. Another shopper stopped pretending to check cereal. I swallowed hard. "Enjoy your groceries, Sophie?" Tried to push past, but she blocked the cart. "Oh, by the way, Daniel says he'll be filing for divorce soon. Just thought you should know. Wouldn't want you to be blindsided." I stared at her, then at him. "You don't even have the spine to say it yourself?" You looked away. My pulse was hammering, but I smiled too wide to calm. "Thanks for the update. You two really deserve each other." I turned the cart sharply and walked toward the checkout dot. As I loaded my groceries onto the belt, I heard Sophie's voice carry across the store. "Some people just can't handle losing." The cashier's eyes flicked to my belly, then to my face. I kept my head down by the time I made it outside. My hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped the bread. Maya took one look at me when I got home. "What happened?" I dumped the groceries on the counter, saw them. Her jaw tightened. "What did they say?" "That I'm living off charity? That I should expect divorce papers?" Maya's voice rose. "That I cut her off." "Don't. I don't want to hear it right now. Bella, you can't let them get away with." "I almost cried in the store," I said, my voice cracking. "I almost gave them the satisfaction." She came closer. "It's okay to cry here." Not in front of them. That night, I did cry hard enough that my chest ached and my stomach cramped. "Bella, breathe," Maya said, rubbing my back as I doubled over on the couch. "You're going to make yourself sick." I can't stop thinking about her face. I choked out like she won. Like, I'm pathetic. "You're not pathetic," she said fiercely. "You're pregnant and dealing with a cheating husband and a snake of a best friend, and you're still here." I pressed a hand to my belly, feeling the faintest kick. What if I'm not enough for her? "You are more than enough." Phone rang. Evelyn's name lit up the screen. I wiped my face and answered. "Hi, you sound like you've been crying," she said bluntly. "I have." "Well, stop. Tears don't fix anything." A bitter laugh escaped me. "You have a way with comfort, Evelyn." "I'm not here to comfort you. I'm here to remind you why you're still standing." I leaned back against the couch, which is 'cause revenge is best served looking flawless, she said. "And because you've got 6 months until that gala, every hour you spend feeling sorry for yourself is an hour you could spend making them eat their words." I hesitated. "Do you think I can actually do this? I wouldn't waste my time." "If I didn't, now get to work." "And Bella?" "Yeah. When you walk into that gala, I want their necks to ache from looking up at you." The line clicked. Maya was watching me from the doorway. What did she say? That I need to look flawless while making them regret everything. A slow smile spread across her face. I like her. I set the phone down. I've been thinking maybe I don't just want to survive this. Maybe I want to win. Maya grinned. Now we're talking. I stood, feeling a strange steadiness settle into my bones. If they wanted me broken, they're about to be very disappointed. sit, Evelyn said, pointing at a sleek white chair in her office. I lowered myself carefully, my belly making everything feel like an Olympic sport. You said you had someone I should meet. I did. She leaned back. Lucas Grant. He's one of the most ruthless investors in fashion. If he likes you, doors open. If he doesn't, they slam shut. Exactly. I exhaled slowly. And you think he'll like me? She smirked. I think you'll survive him. The next day, I was in a glass-walled conference room downtown. A man in a tailored charcoal suit was already seated, flipping through my sketches without looking up. You're late, he said. I'm 2 minutes early, I replied. He glanced at his watch. 2 minutes early is still late if I was ready 5 minutes ago. I fought the urge to roll my eyes. Noted. He set the sketches down. You have good lines, clean, bold, but you're green. I've been designing for years. I said privately, he countered. In this industry, that's nothing. You need teeth, Hayes. I have teeth. Not sharp enough. He leaned back. Tell me why I should give you a cent of my money. Because I don't just design clothes. I design moments people remember. His brow lifted slightly. That's a good line. Did you rehearse it? No, I said, but I'll use it again if you liked it. The corner of his mouth twitched almost. A smile. You're confident for someone with no runway experience. I'm determined, I corrected. He studied me for a long beat. I'll give you access to my fabric suppliers. See what you can do with quality material. If you impress me, we'll talk money. I nodded. Deal. As I gathered my things, he added, one more thing, stop apologizing with your body. Language, stand like you already own the room. I straightened my spine. Better. He smirked. Ask me again when you walk into a boardroom full of sharks. The weeks blurred together, doctor's appointments in the mornings, sewing and sketching through the afternoons, supplier calls late into the night. My apartment corner became a mini studio, bolts of fabric stacked like a fortress. Maya popped. Her head in one evening, are you talking to the dresses? I'm talking to her, I said, patting my belly. She smiled softly. What's she saying, that she wants something in gold? A week later, I brought my first completed pieces to Lucas. He inspected a gown, running his fingers over the seams. Good construction. But the neckline's timid. It's elegant. It's forgettable. Do you want elegant or unforgettable? I took the dress back. Unforgettable, then cut deeper. The next time I returned, he didn't even greet me before pulling the new gown from the rack. Better. Now you're listening. I always listen, I said. He gave me a rare, approving glance. You might actually survive this business. At night, after my hands were sore from sewing, I'd rest them on my belly. You're going to grow up knowing your mom never let anyone make her feel small, I whispered. And no one will make you feel that way either. Some nights I swore she kicked harder when I said it, like she already understood. 3 weeks before the gala, Evelyn called. Lucas says, you've improved. I smiled. He said that. His exact words were, she's not as soft as she looks. In his language, that's a compliment. Then I'll take it. Good, because softness gets you eaten alive out here. I glanced at the nearly finished gowns hanging by the window, sunlight catching the gold threads. I'm not planning on getting eaten. My last fitting. Before the gala, Lucas circled me like a jeweler inspecting a diamond. The dress you're wearing, keep it for yourself. You'll need it when you walk into that room. You think I'm ready? I asked. I think he said that you've stopped asking permission to take up space. That's when people start noticing you. I smoothed the fabric over my belly. She's going to be there too, you know, watching. He raised a brow. She, Sophie, and Daniel. He studied me for a moment. Then wear the dress like you own them both. Breathe, Bella. Deep breaths. Maya's voice wavered, though she was trying to be strong. I am breathing. I gritted out, gripping the bed rails as another contraction tore through me. You try breathing with a bowling ball? Trying? To escape your body, she let out a shaky laugh. You're doing amazing. Liar. I sank back, sweat dripping down my temple. How long has it been? 12 hours? She checked the clock and counting. I closed my eyes, letting the rhythmic beeping of the monitor fill the silence between contractions. Did Daniel? Reply. Maya hesitated. No, I turned my head toward her. At all? She shook her head. He read it, didn't respond. The familiar ache in my chest flared, but I pushed it aside. Fine, forget him. This is about her now. That's right. Maya squeezed my hand. You've got this. Another contraction came like a wave, pulling a guttural cry from me. The nurse's calm voice cut through the haze. Almost. There, Bella. One more big push. I bore down, every muscle straining until the room was filled with the most beautiful sound I'd ever heard a piercing newborn cry. Congratulations, the nurse said softly, placing a tiny warm bundle. Against my chest, I stared at her, my daughter. Her skin was flushed pink, her fists clenched tight. Hi, I whispered, tears blurring my vision. I'm your mom. Maya's breath hitched beside me. She's perfect. She's mine, I said, my voice trembling. Hours later, the room was quiet except for the soft coos from the bassinet. I lay propped against the pillows, unable to take my eyes off her. Have you decided on a name? Maya asked, holding a cup of coffee like she was afraid to breathe too loud. Luna, I said without hesitation. Maya smiled. Like the moon, she's been my light in the dark for months. It feels right, it's beautiful. Luna Hayes traced a finger along her tiny cheek. She's the reason I'm not giving up. A knock at the door broke the moment. The nurse stepped in, carrying a large bouquet of white lilies and pale pink roses. These just arrived, she said, setting them on the table. A small card stuck out from between the blooms. Maya plucked it out and read aloud. This is your beginning. Evelyn. A smile tugged at my lips. Of course it's from her. She's right, you know, Maya said, adjusting the blanket around Luna. This is your beginning. Later, when Maya stepped out to make a call, I was alone with Luna. I picked her up, cradling her against my chest. Her breathing was slow and steady, her little mouth opening in tiny sighs. I don't know what I'm doing, I whispered, but I swear I'm going to figure it out for you. No one will ever make you feel unwanted. Not him, not anyone. Her eyelids fluttered, and she made a soft sound that melted every jagged piece of me. When Maya came back, she paused in the doorway. You look different. Different. Like you're ready to take on the world. I glanced down at Luna. I am. For her. Maya grinned. That's the Bella I know. I shifted Luna carefully into her arms. Want to hold your niece? Maya gasped. Niece? I've been promoted. You've been promoted. I confirmed she took Luna with the kind of reverence usually reserved for priceless art. Hi, baby girl. I'm your aunt, and I'm going to spoil you rotten. I laughed softly. Just remember, I get veto power. Sure, sure, she said, already swaying gently. As the evening settled in, the city lights flickered through the hospital window. I watched them, imagining all the places Luna and I would go. The life I would build. The empire I would run. Maya caught my gaze, thinking about the future. Always, I said. But for the first time, it doesn't scare me. Because of her. I reached over, tucking the blanket around Luna's tiny frame. We're not just surviving anymore. We're fighting for her future. And trust me, no one is ready for what's coming. Breathe, Evelyn whispered behind me. And remember, walk like you own the place. I will, I said, though my pulse was thrumming so hard it felt like the stage floor might shake. Lucas's voice cut in from the side. Don't just own it, Bella. Make them regret not investing sooner. I smirked. You mean like you almost didn't? He arched. A brow, I said almost. Now get out there and prove me right. The low hum of conversation from the ballroom rolled backstage like ocean waves. Crystal chandeliers bathed the crowd in warm gold. I smoothed the skirt of my black satin gown, every stitch mine. Evelyn glanced at me, nervous, excited. I corrected. "There's a difference." She smiled knowingly. "Good, because after tonight, there's no going back to anonymity." When the announcer's voice boomed, "Please welcome the designs of Bella Hayes." I stepped forward, but then my breath caught. Daniel, Sophie. They stood near the champagne tower, perfectly polished. Daniel's suit screamed old money, and Sophie's gown shimmered like she'd stolen starlight. Her hand curled around his arm as if she belonged here. Evelyn followed my gaze. "Well," she murmured, "this just got interesting." Sophie's eyes found me first. For a second, her practiced smile froze. Daniel's gaze slid over me like I was just another guest until his jaw tightened. Maya's voice echoed in my head from months ago. "Make them crane their necks to see you." I lifted my chin, spine straight, and walked past them. Click, click. Click. Each heel strike on the marble felt like a gunshot. Neither of them said a word. But the silence between us was louder than any insult Sophie had ever thrown. Backstage, Lucas stood with his arms folded. "Nice entrance," he said. "Half. The room is already staring." "That's the point," I replied. "Good," he said, lips twitching. "Let's make the other half jealous." The music started a slow, intoxicating beat that matched the pace of my model's first steps. One by one, they glided down the runway in my gowns, each piece a fragment of the world I'd built from nothing. I whispered to Evelyn, "Do you think they noticed?" "Darling," she said, eyes fixed on the crowd, "Sophie hasn't looked away from you once." "And Daniel, well, he's gripping his glass like it's the only thing keeping him upright." I allowed myself a small smile. "Good, the audience is." Murmurs swelled into applause after the third look. By the fifth, the clapping was thunderous. Flashbulbs popped like fireworks. I caught glimpses of whispers, people leaning toward each other, pointing at the gowns, my name on their lips. Lucas leaned close. "This is what winning looks like, Bella. Remember it." When the final model stepped out in the showstopera, floor-length black velvet gown with gold embroidery that caught the light like fire, the room went silent for a heartbeat. Then the applause erupted, louder than before, echoing off the marble walls. The announcer called my name, and Evelyn gave me a gentle push. "Go, claim it." I stepped onto the runway, my gown sweeping behind me. Every camera in the room turned my way. Halfway down, I saw them Daniel and Sophie, still standing together, but different now. Sophie's smile had vanished entirely. Daniel's eyes locked on me, and for the first time since he'd walked out of my life, there it was. Fear. I didn't slow, didn't speak, just let him see exactly what he'd lost. When I reached the end, I gave a single nod to the audience, then turned, letting the gown's train catch the light as I walked back. The applause followed me like a living thing, pressing against my back until I disappeared into the wings. Evelyn caught my shoulders. "You were magnificent." Lucas grinned. "Told you they'd regret it." I exhaled slowly. "They're not the only ones." Few minutes later, as guests mingled and the models posed for photos, felt a presence beside me. Sophie, she smiled, but her eyes were sharp. "Quite the show." "Thank you," I said evenly. "Must be nice," she drawled, "to bounce back so quickly." I tilted my head. "It's not bouncing back. It's rising higher." Her jaw tightened. "Enjoy it while it lasts." "Oh," I said, stepping closer so only she could hear. "I plan to enjoy every second." As she walked away, Daniel lingered for a heartbeat. His lips parted like he might speak, but he didn't. Instead, I met his gaze unblinking, until he looked away for a spot later as the night wound down. Lucas clinked his champagne glass against mine. "To your comeback?" I smiled, feeling the weight of the evening settle into me like silk. No, I corrected to the beginning. Evelyn raised her glass too, and to making them watch every step of the climb. I looked out at the glittering crowd, the chandeliers, the cameras flashing. Somewhere out there Sophie was seething, and Daniel was realizing he'd miscalculated. I took a slow sip of champagne. They won't just watch, I said. They'll never be able to look away. Bella, over here. Look this way. The flashes were relentless, popping like fireworks against the dark night sky. My gold gown shimmered under the spotlights, the silk clinging in all the right places. I adjusted Luna on my hip. She reached for the cameras like she already knew she was born for this. Lucas leaned in, whispering, "You're trending already?" I smirked. "Let them talk. Smile a little wider," he teased. "The press eats this up." I'm already smiling. "Wider than I want to," he chuckled. "Then at least fake it like you're happy to see them." "I am happy to see them," I said, glancing toward the photographers. "They just don't know I'm here for me, not them." "Bella, can we get a shot with Lucas?" the reporter shouted. Lucas slid his arm around my waist. I let it happen. "You clean up well?" I murmured. "I try," he said. "But next to you? I'm just a prop." "That's the point," I whispered. Still smiling for the cameras as we moved down the carpet, I caught sight of him, Daniel, standing off to the side. Alone, no Sophie hanging from his arm, no entourage surrounding him. His suit looked like it had been rented last minute. His eyes locked on me. Lucas noticed. "Friend of yours?" "Not anymore." "Ah," he said slowly. "The famous Daniel." I didn't answer. I didn't need to. A reporter stepped forward, microphone in hand. "Bella, how does it feel being nominated for Designer of the Year?" I adjusted Luna on my hip. It feels like the work finally caught up with the dream, and it's only the beginning. "Is that your daughter?" "She's beautiful. Thank you," I said, kissing Luna's soft curls. "She's the real star." Tonight, the crowd melted. I could hear the murmurs words like stunning, powerful, glowing dot as we paused for another wave of photos. Daniel took a step closer, just enough for me to hear him. "You look incredible." I didn't look at him. I know. The night air in the parking lot was cool, the hum of engines mixing with a faint echo of laughter from inside the venue. I reached my car, heels clicking against the pavement, when I heard his voice. "Bella." I stopped but didn't turn. "Please," Daniel said, footsteps approaching. "Just a minute." I faced him. He looked smaller than I remembered, so rumpled, tie loose, eyes heavy. "I'm sorry," he said, voice low. "For what?" I asked. "For leaving me, for choosing her, for pretending I wasn't worth more." "For all of it," he said quickly. I was blind. "I didn't see you saw exactly what you wanted to see," I cut in. "You just didn't care. Enough to stay." His gaze dropped. "I think about it every day. What I did, what I lost." "You lost nothing you valued at the time," I said. "That's why it's too late now." Step closer. "I didn't know you'd become this." "Become what?" "This woman, successful, untouchable." I almost laughed. "Didn't want this woman, Daniel? Wanted the version who didn't know her own worth." His eyes flicked to the car, to the small bundle in the back seat. "Is that her?" I followed his gaze. Luna was asleep, her tiny hands curled under her cheek. "Yes," I said softly. "That's my daughter, he began. "No." My voice was sharp. "It's not our. You don't get to be part of her story." He flinched. I could be there now. I could help." "She doesn't need your help," I said. "I neither. Do one, Bella. I'm not the same person anymore. You are exactly the same. Fit. The difference is, now I can see it." Silence stretched between us, broken only by the faint thrum of traffic in the distance. I wanted you to know I regret it," he said. "I don't," I replied. His brows knit. "You don't regret us?" "There is no us to regret." I said, "There's only what happened and what I built after you left." He took a breath like he wanted to say more, but I opened my door. "Goodbye, Daniel." "Bella, wait." I didn't. I slid into the driver's seat, the soft scent. of Luna's baby lotion wrapping around me. She stirred but didn't wake. I buckled in, started the car, and drove away without looking back. Later that night, I stood on my balcony. The city stretched out before me, glittering under the dark sky. The award rested on the table beside me. Next to a half-full glass of champagne Lucas had called earlier. Evelyn had sent a dozen exclamation marks. My phone still buzzed with congratulations. But I let it sit untouched. I lifted the glass, the city lights catching in the bubbles. The wind brushed against my skin, carrying the faint hum of distant music. Somewhere, people were still talking about the gold dress, the award, the moment. But I wasn't thinking about them. I was thinking about how light I felt, how quiet my chest was, how I didn't need Daniel's apology or his validation or his presence to close the book. I glanced. Inside, where Luna slept in her crib, her chest rose and fell with the rhythm of dreams. Her tiny fingers twitching. "This is our story now," I whispered. The champagne was cold on my lips. The night was endless. And I knew with a certainty that settled deep into my bones, my story had only just begun. His voice was low, almost pleading. "Can we talk?" "No," I said, smiling for another camera. "It's important." "Not to me." Lucas raised a brow. "Do you want me to get security?" "No," I said. "Let him watch. That's punishment enough." We reached the interview area, lights glaring, microphones everywhere. Bella, another reporter, began. "What inspired this collection?" I shifted Luna to my other arm. Strength, resilience, and knowing that no matter how much they try to burn you, you can still come back brighter. Lucas smiled faintly at that. But I didn't miss the flicker of recognition in Daniel's eyes. When the last set of questions wrapped up, Lucas leaned close. "You're handling this like a queen." "I am a queen," I said. "I just had to remind myself." Daniel tried again as we made our way inside. "Bella, please, just 2 minutes." I finally turned my head, my smile still fixed. "You had years, Daniel, and you wasted every one." His jaw clenched. "I made mistakes." I said, "You made choices." And with that, I walked away. Inside the venue, gold light washed over the walls. Crystal chandeliers glittered above, and the air buzzed with perfume and ambition. I settled into our table near the front, Lucas taking the seat beside me. "You sure you don't want me to have him removed?" he asked. "I want him to see every moment," I said. "I want him to remember this image for the rest of his life, me, here at the top with my daughter and my name in lights." Lucas lifted his glass. "To rebirth." I clinked mine against his. "To walking through fire and wearing gold when you come out." The ceremony began. Applause roared for the winners announced before my category, but my focus stayed steady. Luna played with my necklace, her little fingers wrapping around the chain like she was anchoring me. When my name was called as a nominee, the spotlight swept over me. Cameras turned, people leaned forward. Daniel, somewhere in the crowd, was watching. I felt it like a weightan then, like nothing at all. And the International Fashion Award for Designer of the Year goes to the Envelope Tour. The name rang out, the room erupted. Lucas stood, clapping hard. Evelyn somewhere behind me screaming louder than anyone else. I rose, balancing Luna on my hip as I walked to the stage. The microphone was warm beneath my hand. A year ago, I began. I was a single mother with a dream that felt impossible. Tonight, I'm standing here because I refuse to let anyone tell me I wasn't enough. This award isn't just mine, it's for every woman who's been underestimated. Applause surged again. I caught Daniel in my peripheral vision, motionless. Eyes dark with something between regret and defeat. Lastly, I said to my daughter Lunua, "You are the reason I fight, the reason I rise, and the reason I know I'll never fall again." When I stepped off stage, Lucas met me with the award in his hands. I told you, he said. This is only the beginning. I smiled. I know. Daniel was gone when I left the hall. Maybe he couldn't bear to see the rest. Maybe it hurt. Too much to witness a future that could have been his. Either way, I didn't care, because the only thing I saw when I looked ahead was gold. Maya burst into my studio, phone in hand. Have you seen the news? I kept sketching. Bits about another celebrity wedding. I'm busy. No, she said, grinning like she'd just won the lottery. It's about Daniel. My pencil froze. Go on. She shoved the phone toward me. Harrington & Co., rocked by scandal CFO, fired amid investigation. Daniel's picture was right there. Smug smile replaced by a mugshot-worthy glare. I let out a slow breath. Well, took them long enough. Maya laughed. He's done. Totally untouchable now. 2 days later, Evelyn arrived with a glossy magazine in her hand. Look who made Vogue. Flipped it open. My designs filled a 2-page spread silk velvet. Gold accents glowing under perfect lighting. They called you fashion's newest force, Evelyn said. Do you know what that means? That my insomnia finally paid off. That, she said, and that everyone in the industry is watching you now. Lucas showed up that evening, leaning against my cutting table like he owned the place. I have an offer, he said. I'm listening. A formal partnership. I invest big. You expand faster than you thought possible. Manufacturing, distribution. Global shows, I eyed him. And in return, a fair percentage of profits. And the satisfaction of knowing you wouldn't have to claw your way up alone. I crossed my arms. You know why I hesitate? Because I'm a man? 'Cause trusting one nearly destroyed me. His mouth quirked. I'm not Daniel. No, I said softly. But Daniel didn't look like Daniel at first either. When he left, Evelyn was waiting in the doorway. You're afraid of the wrong thing, she said. Oh, you're thinking about betrayal when you should be thinking about opportunity. If Lucas screws you, you can survive it. If you hold back out of fear, you'll regret it. I stared. At my sketches, maybe? No, maybe, she said. Build your name, build your empire. Then no one can take it from you. A week later, I walked into the Grand Mirabelle Hotel for the annual charity ball. The lobby glittered with chandeliers, gowns swept across marble floors. Champagne flutes caught the light. Evelyn touched my arm. Ready? More than ready, I said. My gown of gold satin slip with a dramatic back hugged me, like confidence itself. We stepped into the ballroom. The scent of roses, the hum of string music. The buzz of voices, it was intoxicating. Then I saw him, Daniel, but not in a tux. Not holding a glass of champagne, not surrounded by sycophants. He was standing behind an older man, holding a clipboard, adjusting the guest list, serving. I couldn't stop this slow smile from curling my lips. Evelyn noticed my gaze. Well, well, she murmured. Daniel's eyes flicked up, met mine, and in that instant, his posture stiffened. I walked toward him, heels sinking into the thick carpet like each step was deliberate. Daniel, I said lightly, didn't expect to see you here. His throat worked. Bella, working the event? I asked, glancing at the clipboard. His jaw tightened. Just helping a friend. I let my gaze sweep over him. Well, it's good to see you keeping busy. Sophie appeared a moment later, her gown a little too tight, smile a little too forced. Bella, she said, congratulations on Vogue. Must be thrilling. It is, I said. Almost as thrilling as being invited to events like this. Her eyes narrowed, but she kept the smile. Enjoy your night. Oh, I said, brushing past her. I intend to. Later, while Lucas and I spoke with a group of investors, I caught sight of Daniel again carrying a tray of champagne, weaving through the crowd. Lucas followed my gaze. An X. Yes, he smirked. I take it this is a satisfying moment. I sipped my drink. Satisfying isn't the word. Poetic, maybe. Maya texted me from across the room. I just saw him spill champagne on some senator. This is better than TV. I texted back, Don't let him see you laughing. As the night went on, people kept approaching me wanting to talk about the Vogue feature, my next collection, a possible Paris showcase. Daniel passed by twice, never speaking, but his eyes followed me like a shadow. Evelyn leaned close. "You've won, darling, so stop playing small in your own head." I exhaled slowly. "You're right. Tonight isn't about him. It's about me." When the orchestra began a slow waltz, Lucas offered his hand. "Dance?" I hesitated. "I'm not exactly a ballroom dancer." "Neither am I," he said, "but I am persistent." I let him lead me to the floor. As we moved, I caught Daniel in the corner, tray in hand, watching. The shame in his eyes was sharp, almost physical. And for the first time, I didn't feel the need to throw it back at him because I had something better. I had risen so far. He couldn't touch me. By the time I left that night, the city lights reflected off the hotel's glass doors like stars. At my feet, Evelyn slid into the car beside me. "So," she said, "Lucas." I smiled faintly, still deciding. "Just remember," she said, "you don't need him. But if you want him, that's different." I looked out at the glowing skyline. "I'll think about it." The driver pulled away, and in the mirror, the Grand Mirabelle shrank into the distance. Somewhere inside, Daniel was still cleaning up after people who had forgotten his name. And I was headed toward the kind of future no one could take from me.